someone who demonstrates immense inner beauty joins us right now. We're joined as a special guest by Rose Santiago. She's the author of Live Your True Essence. She's with my good buddy who joins us every Wednesday, Joe Hagan, the CEO of Wealth Colony. My friends, thank you for joining us. And Rose, this is an amazing story, an uplifting story. You were born blind with optic nerve damage, okay? This is what the doctors told your mom when you were a young girl, and you still loved adventures, rock climbing, hiking, and you never allowed your blindness to control your abilities and possibilities in life, right up to the point where you're now an author of a book that explains to people that they need to live their true essence. Tell us about this story and your book.
Oh yeah, thank you so much for that. Yes, this book is definitely all about my journey. It's all about showing people really, truthfully, what's possible for them. Some people would say to me, you know, how do you do this and how do you do that? And it's those are cool questions and stuff, but I've never allowed myself to be led by what people thought. And that was one of the things that I guess separated me from a lot of people. A lot of people's opinions were, you know, what can you do as a blind person? What, you know, they thought more about limitations and no expectations instead of, hey, you know, what can you do? I mean, you have all these abilities. And as I grew up being bullied, being, you know, talked down to, being pulled aside, you know, like you don't matter. All of those things did affect me in some ways because it got to the point in my life where I did feel like, hey, you know, maybe I'm not valuable or important. But then that was just short-lived.
Wow.
I was like, oh, hell no, that ain't happening.
Oh, hell no. So let me ask you something. I kind of subscribe to the laws of attraction. I think you put positive thoughts into the universe, and that's the type of stuff that comes back to you. I don't look backwards. I don't engage in regret. If I have 10 bad things going and one good thing, I try to focus more of my energy on the positive and let the negatives work themselves out, not feed them. I want to ask you a really hard question, if you can answer it. So, have you ever seen your own exterior beauty?
I have not really ever seen my exterior beauty. I have pretty much gone on what people say to me, but honestly, whether my beauty exterior is great or not, I feel beautiful. Well, that's what matters, doesn't it?
Well, you are amazingly beautiful, if you haven't been told that a million times in life. But no, I ask you the question because I got a good buddy of mine, Joe Clams. He's like 90% blind, but it was deteriorating over the years, so he knows what he looks like. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I wonder, you know, today's National Inner Beauty Day, so, you know, I'm talking about loving yourself before you love anyone else. And, you know, I always try to empower people, but tell people, you know, some people look at themselves and they think, all right, well, I'm good looking, I'm handsome, I still got a little hair, I'm in shape. So that's like one of the things that they use to derive confidence. And tell people how they can understand their inner beauty without understanding their outer beauty or even letting that factor in, because that's what you've had to do your whole life.
Yeah, that's a good question. Reflecting on your inner beauty, it leads to a question, right? For me, it leads to a question. Who are you? Who are you? So if you ask the question, who are you? Then there should be things in there that who you are is what? Are you strong or are you weak? Are you powerful or are you not powerful? Are you a spiritual person or are you just a person who thinks mediocre? Who are you really? And when you examine yourself in that perspective and you look inside yourself and say, look, I'm a person that's loving, I'm caring, I'm peaceful, I'm joyful, despite my challenges, despite the things that I experience, I'm still me. And real me is a loving me. So who is the person?
That's amazing. Joe, thank you for continuing to bring us these great, inspiring guests, these great business owners. I know who you are. You're one of our Wall Street experts. You guys over at the CEO of Wealth Colony, always doing great things for people who want to learn more about investing and finding passive income and setting up their IRAs the right way and all that good stuff. But Joe, what is it that draws you and someone like Rose? What brings you guys together? Like, what's the flashpoint where you connect? And then I'm lucky enough to get both of you on the same day.
Yeah, thank you, John. So yeah, I mentioned to you about a weekend I did a few weekends ago that was an immersion weekend that I do for personal development. It's really about, proper, influence, human, integrity-based influence, and doctors, lawyers, business people, entrepreneurs, financial advisors, lots of different walks of life spent, time at this unblinded weekend. And for me, Rosa was the most impressive by far. I mean, a lot of people, listen, it was pre-hurricane conditions in the ocean, and a lot of people, rightfully so, are kind of sane and didn't want to go in. Well, forget about the eyesight. Rosa not only went in during the day, when she came back out, she wanted to go back in again and boogie board and learn how to boogie board, and did that, and then went back in at nighttime when it was dark and probably broke a rib and got tossed around a little bit. But she felt it was a great experience. And in all the conversations between that, John, I just felt that I would be stronger spending time with her and understanding her and reading her book. And I recommend everybody read her book. You don't realize, how weak you really are until you spend time with someone like Rosa.
Wow, that's amazing. So for all of you guys watching, you got to go out there, get on Google, Amazon, wherever you can find it. On Live Your True Essence by Rose Santiago is out there. Rose, I find it quite ironic that you and Joe met at a weekend getaway called Unblinded.
Yeah.
It kind of takes on a special new meaning for you because there's no way for you to be unblinded in the regular sense of the word, but do these empowerment things help you get a greater inner view of the world? Is that why you do these things?
Oh, well, unblinded is see what you don't see. And just because you're blind or not, sometimes we are blind to things that we're not seeing. Like I wasn't seeing certain things about business that I'm seeing now, that I'm understanding in mastery, in basically in self-mastery, in process mastery, and in business mastery, influence mastery. So there's a lot of things I wasn't seeing that I'm seeing now. So blindness is for me more physical. This is more about learning and getting experiences where you are understanding the world of business and what it's all about in a way of integrity, like more of integrity-based influence, not just trying to shove sales down somebody's throat.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, I think with your beauty and intelligence, you probably have no problem doing sales because you're an inspiring person. I'm sure people want to do business with you.
Thank you, John.
And so is my good buddy Joe Hagan. He's an inspiring guy.
He's awesome.
And
I love Joe.
Young people look up to him. He's a mentor. He's a sales coach. He's one of the most positive guys around. And more importantly, when he picks out stocks like Datadog, he generates positive returns for his portfolio and others. So, Joe, before we go, anything great you're working on right now that our audience needs to know about?
Well, Datadog did finally break through last week, 100. It's about 108. And it's almost a year anniversary that, I picked it on your show at $33 a share. So 33 to 108 is no mean achievement. And I will not rest on yesterday's success for today's complacency. I am still all about the additional upside without the additional risk in the invest you preferred while you get 13%. I still love that right now. And until I find something greater, that's what I'm sticking with, John.
All right. So if you want a little growth, Datadog is still out there for you if you want to get involved in the data economy, and if you want a little income and stability with a non-correlated volatility, talk to Joe about the investor you prefer. It's given a beautiful return, 13%. Beautiful return on the investment of time we did in this segment with Rose Santiago because she's amazing and inspiring. And she's the author of Live Your True Essence. Rose, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you, John, for having me. I appreciate that.
and Joey Hagan, CEO of Wealth Colony. Quick break, news of the day, you're not going to believe it. And if you want some pillows, get on the Facebook right now and say, I want a pillow. 2 people are going to win 1 today.